Right, the Premier League season comes to an end a week on Sunday, meaning time is running out for players to impress England manager Gareth Southgate ahead of this summer's Euros.
Yeah, now we know Harry Kane's on the plane, but which other striker or strikers will join him? Former England international Jermain Defoe is backing someone who scored a couple of goals after coming back from England recently and from injury and is looking good.
I love Callum Wilson. A fit Callum Wilson scores goals at every level. And I've always said that. And I don't think I realised how good he was until I went to Bournemouth. And I watched him every day in training and I watched him in the gym. You know, he had 2 big knee injuries and I watched the way he worked and sort of like his mentality, that elite mentality. And I think, you know, again, a confident forward and I believe a fit Callum Wilson scores goals. So that's the luxury you've got, you know, in these forward areas.
Well, Mark has joined us. Plenty, isn't there, for Southgate to think about? I'm not even going to ask the man on my right if he should go, because he's been like Callum Wilson's PR man this morning. What do you make of what Jermain Defoe had to say?
Yeah, well, I'm a bit of a Callum Wilson PR man as well, from watching him quite closely at his time at Bournemouth. I remember doing an interview with him years and years ago. He was in the Championship at the time, and he said, like, I want to play for England. You know, he was a young striker. He'd come from Coventry to Bournemouth, was scoring goals in the second tier, doing really well. But I still, you know, I want to play for England. That's my ambition. That's my target. And every single international break, where most players would go, right, we're going to go away for the weekend, we're going to get some hot weather, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do family stuff. Callum Wilson always had in his kitchen on the calendar international break and the England fixtures. Even though he'd never been called up for England, he harboured those ambitions from a very young age and had that belief that he would go on and achieve it. And eventually, Gareth Southgate selected him. He's played for England, last played in September against Scotland. And whilst this season has been one of frustration for him with regards to injuries, he's got back fit, come into the side, 2 in 2. He's a very different type of profile of striker to what the other players that Gareth Southgate would select. And actually, when you look at his recent form and his minutes to goals ratio, it's really strong. Take a look at the situation with regards to the stats and numbers, because Callum Wilson is right up there at the moment. And you can see in the Premier League this season, the goals scored by selected England strikers. Callum Wilson's got 9, which works out 108 minutes per goal. Ollie Watkins, who's had a phenomenal campaign for the Villa, 19 goals, but that's 161 minutes per goal. Dom Solanke, brilliant, very, very outside chance. Dominic Calvert-Lewin in the goals recently, but obviously injury-plagued season for him. Ivan Toney, surprisingly, who you'd almost say is the backup to Harry Kane. 4 goals this season. We know he hasn't played a lot of football because of the ban.
Did well on his debut though, didn't he?
He did.
For
but when he came into the side, he was good. But 317 minutes
He's had a difficult few weeks.
The
Carrying
thing
a
is
bit
with
of an
Wilson
injury as well.
Here we go. Sorry, but
Here we go. The PR machine.
He is perfect for the impact. He actually, when he comes off the bench, we saw it last week, didn't we, against Sheffield United? Came off the bench, pings one in the top corner within seconds of coming on. He's great off the bench. So if you've got Harry Kane's going, you can't play Harry Kane every minute of the tournament. You need someone who's going to come on the bench and potentially get a goal. Come off the bench. Thing is, as well, Wilson can play in a 2, and he's a fox in the box. He's very different to the others. If you can take more than one, I would, I'd stick him in there.
Take more than one. I mean, the question is,
more than one as well as Kane. So like 3 strikers.
And that's the thing, isn't it? If it's 26, man squad, then there's a little bit more wiggle room for Southgate, because he's got a lot of very talented midfielders who can deputise a little bit up front as well, hasn't he?
And that's, I guess, one of the other problems is that because of the style of football and the way England play with one number 9, those 2 wide forwards are key players, and we know that there's a lot of strength in depth there. You go back to Callum Wilson, his record at Newcastle is phenomenal. 47 goals in 69 starts since his arrival in the North East. He has been absolutely superb.
Second all-time Premier League goal scorer for Newcastle. Now, it's incredible. You think of the players that played there, Andy Cole, Les Ferdinand, so many. He's only behind Alan Shearer.
Callum's right up there. So, you'd have to say there's a good chance, with the squad being potentially a bit more, that Callum Wilson could be on the plane to Germany. Last 2 matches, last 2 or 3 games, could be crucial. If he has a really strong finish, he's been in the England setup before, Gareth knows him, he knows the type of player he is, could be perfect.